Hmm. All right. Was that out? Sorry about that. Didn't mean to start with a cough, but such is life. Anyway, welcome to the stream. My name is Caddie, if you've not noticed me before. And we're here for chat time. In fact, I'm going to start with a little hydration because apparently I need it. And that is... It's usually right about here. I'm too far over. It's here. The quenchiest of waters. Hello, Stormy Ferret. Welcome to my chaos. And Wild, welcome, my little dear friend. So, I came up with a good topic for tonight. And many of you may relate or unrelate to this. But tonight's topic that I want to start with anyway is preparedness. Preparedness for what? Well, that's usually the biggest question, isn't it? So, I'm closing chat view for a little bit so I can actually not look like I'm sitting with my eyes closed all the time. But in general, preparedness for whatever it is that might happen. Get over there so I'm not staring at the ceiling, please. Thank you. Still staring at the ceiling. Whatever. Apparently I'll look up. But that's better than just sitting with my eyes closed. I grew up in a family that was old school. My grandparents, many of which were still alive when I was born, were from the Great Depression era. They were from the 1920s and whatnot. So they were from the phase where everybody, if you had the ability to have a backup thing in the fridge or in the pantry or whatever, you did your best to be ready. If you had a way to be prepared for whatever kind of potential hardships might be coming down the road, you were always stockpiled. So, since my grandparents raised my parents with the same effective, thorough value of always have a stockpiled pantry, always have a stockpiled refrigerator, always have, if you can, a deep freeze in your basement full of more food products than you remember you ever bought. In some ways, I'm trying not to be 100% like that, but trying to keep up with the better parts of these things. And yes, I agree with Popsy Woo. Wild is a good little pink deer. Aw, Nubwiggles, how sweet. Now, over the many years that I have lived completely on my own, effectively, and I consider time living with my Fopsy Woo as time that's completely on my own, we've always done our best to have at least some form of stockpilage, depending on what was available space-wise and capability of purchasing and such. When we lived in the apartment, we only had a basic refrigerator with freezer, but we did keep a pantry full of things like noodles, dried noodles and things, packs of stuffing, cake mixes, whatever you could get, dry goods, canned foods, canned vegetables, canned soups. We were at least somewhat stocked at any given time. And since 6 years ago we moved into this house and we actually had more pantry space, we were a lot more capable in this fashion. For First off, with just the pantry in the house under the stairwell, and now with our expanded canned pantry out in the garage. So I have more space to store things ready to go. Now, storing food and being prepared can be relative. You don't necessarily need to have everything known to man to think you have enough for the next 2 to 3 years, because that's not feasible. We're not planning for the nuclear fallout. We are planning for the oops, Walmart didn't feel like stocking any of the chunky soups we liked for a month and a half. Or you got a cold or the COVID and you're stuck with whatever's in the house because you're not allowed to go to the store. Well, I mean, you really shouldn't. Nobody's stopping you at this point. What if two pink deer graze together in a meadow? I think you should too. You two should. So, my thought on this, as far as what food levels you'd want to keep on stock, if you are going to legitimately use it in time, it doesn't hurt to have it available. If you're not going to use it before it does go bad, there is not much point in buying all of it. Now, even canned foods do have an expiration date. Most of it's kind of relative, okay? I'm not going to say you have to 100% follow the fact that can of soup says it expires in 10 years. It's still edible in most cases in that 10-year period. It just starts to get less pleasant after a certain point. And sometimes even long before you've hit the official expiration date of canned foods, they do start to hit that unpleasant level. So, as far as foodstuffs go, stocking to the point where you're not going to have things expire before they're eaten is the primary stop point. 100%, I'm all for stopping before that. Because at that point, you're now wasting food. If you bought enough chunky soups to last you for the next 12 years. Some of those are going to expire before the 12 years is up. Also, I'm surprised you had space for 12 years worth of cans of soup. I applaud your storage space. We'll get to that part in a moment. But as long as the food you are buying is not going to expire before you eat it, you're not breaking rule number 1. Space. And yes, it would be cute. And you two should make it happen. Go be deer together. So that is the primary rule. Don't buy more than you are actually going to non-expire use. And that goes for any kinds of supplies. Or at least you expect you're going to use. If you randomly die of emergency deathitis and you had leftover food in your house, I'm not holding you at fault. You're dead, obviously, but I'm not going to hold you at fault that you purchased things that you were expecting were going to be able to use. So, yes, primary rule, don't buy things before that are going to go bad before you're going to get to them. The second major rule is don't buy more than you have space to deal with. Now, we have a nice size house, and there's only 2 of us living in it. If I really wanted to, we could turn an entire bedroom into stored canned goods. Could turn an entire room into stored canned goods and not even really flinch. Am I going to do this? Oh, hackers, no. Flat out no. There's no point in that. Yes, I could get enough canned soup that would last us for up to the point when it's going to expire. Enough canned corn, enough canned peas and carrots and whatever. And refried beans and all of the canned foods that we might eat. Sure, we could own it. Why? There's a certain point of, will you actually have some problem where that much becomes necessary, and are you willing to spend that much of your own personal space to deal with it? Delegate enough space that you feel is adequate. If your house has a pantry, that's a good starting point. Use that. If you doesn't have one built in and you buy a kitchen cabinet-y thing or a shelving unit or something, again, that's a good starting point in my eyes. It's a good way to have a basic concept of how much you really feel like storing. Now, for example, we often have several items that are always on stock. Like a few canned vegetables we definitely like eating. Green beans, carrots, corn. We have a fire-roasted corn made by Del Monte that's been really, really good lately, so that's always on there. I actually have white corn that's been on stock for a while now. Lima beans, peas. And any of these given items, I will often say we have a full row or possibly 2 full rows worth of product. A full row in our pantry would be 8 cans. Now, regular corn, green beans, carrots, those 3 we both really like, so we actually have 2 rows of each of those. So at any given time, we have upwards of 16 of each can. These canned vegetables will last theoretically up to 10 years. So, am I going to eat 16 cans of carrots in the next 10 years? That's an easy answer. Yes, actually I am intending to eat that many cans. Am I smart enough to remember to rotate the cans? I buy new ones every time? No, but I need to be better about that. Similarly, we have quite a few different of the chunky type soups on hand at a given time. That one varies a little bit more, I would definitely say. You got to consider they do change what is sold. And sometimes it's just they don't sell certain things for months on end, and so something might run out. But in general, on the ones we normally like, we tend to keep 1 row of, sometimes a second row, so 8 or 16 cans of up to 5 or 6 different kinds of soups, or possibly a group of soups might be a row. Like when I buy beef soups, I don't go, oh, I have to have exactly this particular beef soup. There's a beef pot roast, or there's a sirloin burger, or there's a beef tip, or whatever. General Campbell's Chunky or Progresso Chunko soup or Walmart Chunky soup, whatever brand it is. I just kind of put those in one category, and I have 1 row of beef soups that I like. No beef and barley, though. I have, honestly, I don't hate it, but just kind of sad to me. Beef and veg, beef and potatoes, beef and whatever, but they're usually all pretty similar to me. So whatever kind of stuff is with them, I'm okay with them just being one category. Chicken noodles got its own row, obviously, because chicken noodle is amazing for when you're sick. And lately I've even added turkey and rice to the list. Rice is usually on the low end. but I like the turkey and rice as a combo, so it gets a pass. Um, so that's another major critter on the shelving units. I also have some things that are modest use. Potential multitaskers like beans and refried beans, which are two different objects, obviously. Canned tomato products and jarred tomato products, which all have the same kind of shelf life. So, progressive sketty sauces and or diced tomatoes, tomato pastes, tomato, like the canned tomato puree or whatever. Good things for making chili with or whatnot. We tend to have some of those things, not necessarily full rows, just large amounts. Some amounts on those, actually. I've been trying to not keep too much of that stuff on hand if I'm not intending to use it. Mushrooms are out there. I don't want to get into every detail of every food we eat, but you get the picture. Shelf-stable canned products. Keep what you think you're going to be able to use, but not more than you think you're going to use. We actually are a fan of canned vegetables. In a lot of vegetables, not all vegetables. Canned asparagus is yucky. Fresh asparagus is delicious. Frozen asparagus I haven't tried yet, but, why not? Give it a shot one day. So, if it's products you can eat and you can have stable, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of a stockpile for that rainy day, even if it's just literally a rainy day that you just can't be arsed to go to the grocery store on grocery night because it's storming so hard out there, or snowing, or whatever weather happens. It's good to keep at least a little bit of something, enough to get you through a week or possibly two, depending on how bad all of it gets. And again, if you get sick. 2020 did enforce this to be a little bit more of a function for a lot of people. And out of all the bad that happened from that, I can definitely say it's a good thing to learn that lesson a little bit. Because a lot of people weren't taught this as children in the last generation or two. So it's been missed. Now, there are other things that we do like to keep on hand in the foods nature out in the garage that does expire at a sooner rate. Now, in this trick, a lot of it did come down to I was keeping stock on things that oftentimes the stores would run out of for some stupid reason. We drink our sodies in 2-liter bottles normally. And my favorite, probably still favorite, is Diet Cherry Pepsi. Preferably the zero sugar Cherry Pepsi, but that's even harder to keep track of. I would accept either when I was still doing the brand name stuff. I've moved over to Diet Sam's Choice Cola, and the other thing we normally have a lot of is Diet Dr. Thunder, which is, again, Walmart brand Diet Dr. Pepper stuffs. And a few other things randomly will be on the shelf. We find them inexpensive. But when you're talking about soda that does expire, so keeping that to a limit of how long before it's going to taste sad, that's where you gotta keep a better eye on. That's our first item in my pantry that is a big question of, did I buy it too much ahead of time, or did I buy it too far? Not enough. Because then there'll be that day you go to the store and they are just fribbing out of all of the good diet stuff, and you're forced to buy brand name, and that gets expensive fast. I never expect that I'm going to be completely out of diet options in general, more of a diet options that are affordable. Fortunately, Diet Sam's Choice Cola, I've not been having any problems getting since I've moved over to that from the brand name stuff, but I still like to keep at least a couple weeks supply, if not up to 4 weeks supply in that. That stuff usually lasts about 3 months or so as long as I manage to cycle the block and drink older stuff sooner, I will less likely run out of quality beverages. Now, other things that it doesn't hurt to be a little bit stocked on if you have the space. Cleaning products and general personal care products are also really important. A lot of we do keep out in the garage as well, on a second set of pantry type shelves. This includes an entire spare container of laundry detergent. We buy the Sam's Club size thing of Tide because we have a shelf in our laundry room where you can put one of those big squirter bottles. So we use that, and I keep a second one in the garage, ready to trade out when the primer one empties. Also a thing of fabric softener sits out there on that same shelf. Now, one of those seems to last us about a year. I'm not saying we don't do our laundry often enough or anything, but for some reason that's about how much we have per year. And I'm okay with that. So having a effective spare year's supply of Tide and Snuggle in the garage, I find is more than adequate. If I'm not able to get to any store within a year, the apocalypse has happened and I don't care if my clothes are dirty. Fair enough. If at that point the apocalypse has also happened, we probably don't have running water to make the clothes washer go either. Again, no point in worrying about whether or not you have more Tide. We have a dishwasher, so I also like to keep 1 or 2 containers of the gel stuff we use in ours in the garage. We have the space. This does not overburden our space. So my eyes, keeping a little bit of that stuff on hand isn't a bad idea. And there's always some hand washing to do, so I tend to keep a couple of reasonable sized hand washing, dish detergent. Usually Meyer brand because that's where I shop. In the garage on that same shelf. These are easy to keep on hand. You're going to use them. I don't feel like that is hoarding in the sense that I've pre-purchased the next container of hand washing detergent, dishwasher detergent, laundry, all of that stuff. Additionally, you do probably want to keep some of your other regular cleaning products a little bit ahead of schedule, assuming they don't expire or go funky from sitting around. Example like scrubbing bubble spray or something, or 401, or whatever it is you like to clean your bathroom and your kitchen with. Some of that on hand, not a bad idea. A couple extra squirt bottles. With a lot of the bathroom cleaner stuff, we do tend to like to have one to put into each of the bathrooms anyway, so that you don't have to go, oh, which bathroom did I leave the open container of Scrubby Scrub in? Oh, it's in the downstairs bathroom. It's in the upstairs hall bath. Yeah, just like have one everywhere. Same with toilet cleaner and stuff like that. It doesn't hurt to have a little bit of backup. Oh, do I? Ah, bugger. Let me edit that. I knew I'd forget something. Sorry about that. VR chat stream babbling about stuff. check all in VR chat. Change that to VR chat. Done. Ha. There we go. One thing fixed. Yay! Thank you, Mandy. And I'm a little disheveled because I'm not where I was sitting. There we go. Straighten my head back out. Alright, back to where I was. At least I didn't lose my train of thought this time. When I do something stupid. So, cleaning products, definitely a good idea. Have at least a little backup. Not to say you're all dirty, dirty birds, but it does help to have some things on hand. And though it's not necessarily the best option, you want to have some of your emergency stuff on hand like that too, such as maybe a liquid plumber. Also, out on that particular shelving unit, we do keep, we use a full case of paper towels. I think it's like the 15-roll pack from Sam's Club. And we often have a second one on the shelf as well for when the first one runs out, because I'm dumb and I don't pay attention to the fact that the pack of paper towels are running low. I'm human. I don't run out in the garage and inventory everything every day. And I don't go to Sam's Club every week, so it's good to have a backup. Additionally, something everyone from 2020 on has known to keep on hand: butt paper. You're not derailing that train. Woot! Yes, I am not. There we go. Now it's centering right. Dink. Butt paper. We either have 2 or 3 of the big cubes of butt paper at any given time. Can some people consider that hoarding? Sure. But we're going to use it eventually, and I don't feel like we're overstoring on any of that stuff, so anyone that wants to badmouth that, you're more than welcome to. I don't care. Your opinion is noted and disregarded. Some things, it is the worst day on your day whenever you go to poo and there's no poo paper in your house and you gotta deal with that. So, yes, keeping that on hand I never felt was a bad idea. If you ever went to visit my grandmother's house, the fact that she had probably 5 or 6 of said cubes of toilet paper and equivalent also 5 or 6 cubes of paper towels in her basement tells you I'm not doing the worst. Again, don't buy more than you're intending to use, period, especially use before it expires. A couple of cubes of toilet paper is not going to be more than we're ever going to use. It's going to be a long time if we ever ran to that point, but it's not more than we're intending to use in our lifetimes. If that lasted more than a few years, I'm concerned we're not wiping properly. Okay, so good thing to have a little bit of. Paper towels, we use those for everything, so having a little bit extra on those, not necessarily a bad thing either. It is many, I know. But I don't like running out of butt paper. I've had that happen to me more than once in my lifetime. I never want to have that happen again. Now, inside pantry, we keep a lot of the other more drier dry goods. I tend to keep things like flour products and noodle products in the inside pantry where the actual pantry lives. So box pastas, those last for friggin' nearly forever. So the fact that I have maybe 10 box linguine in there and a half dozen other nudes. Oh, my grandma's collection. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It was scary. On that particular note, when Charmin changed from pure flat paper to having patterning on it, it was years and years before she ran out of the OG stuff. I would go down to her house to poop on purpose because she had the good stuff still. It's improved again over the years, but I mean back then that was the paper. The smooth Charmin was the stuff. After my mom's hoarding, it's made it impossible to have too much when it comes to food goods. Master of Fluff, Waves Pom-Poms. Hi there, first time I'm really tuning into one of your streams since the spring semester just ended. Well, hello! Funny to think of Sherman as having a flop era. Yes, it did. I'm old, and I remember when they changed it from being flat paper to having its first ridges, and yeah, that was a major change. I do no, that was sadness. I also keep some of the more breakable items inside, sauce type items, and most things in glass jars. Spaghetti sauce lives in the garage, but things like pickles, banana peppers, jalapenos, those all live inside because there's less chance they're going to break if they hit that floor from the shorter distance than the concrete floor in the garage. Granted, it'd be less of a place to have a mess, easier to hose out. It's the garage, but I'd rather less chance it's going to break than less chance it's going to potentially be a mess I have to deal with. But we also have things like cake mixes in there, smaller items, packets of seasoning for General Tso's and fried rice. Packet curries live inside because they're small and small things easier to deal with in the inside area. But all the sauces, teriyaki, hoisin, soy, salad dressings, tartar, hot sauces, all that lives inside. There are shelves of sauces. I'm just not going to sit here and list all of them. Pancake mix, rice. Once open, I usually keep the unopened rice pillow in the garage, and once I open it, I bring it inside to that, the inside pantry. Cereal, of course, flour, sugar. I said pancake mix probably, but pancake mix, because that's important. Two kinds of that. You have your Bisquiks and you have your other. Because those are two kinds of pancakes. They're completely different, and they're both valid and delicious. I mean, the kind of person who has to catch my breath whenever I see a soda at the supermarket change a logo, like today with Fanta. Did Fanta change its label? I haven't noticed yet. Bisquick is for cobblers and for biscuits. Now I'm going to make more things with Bisquick than just pancakes. Bisquick things. Biscuits. And anything that's small and open often becomes in the inside pantry as opposed to the outside, the garage pantry. It's not like the garage is... they did more minimalistic. Oh, nice. I think it had for a while other countries, but never saw the redesign for the first time. Bought at Walmart. Got a good recipe for Cheddar Bay biscuits. I've cheated and actually bought the Cheddar Bay biscuit stuff, the mix in the store, but I should try doing one of the cheat recipes as opposed to buying their mix. Probably be a smarter, cheaper move. And I recently did pick up the rest of the supplies I need to make bread with, because I'm considering making a loaf of bread. Just because. Yeah. Yes. That's future me problem. Haven't had Cheddar Bay biscuits since my local Ruby Tuesday. Aww. I'm sorry. You can always go to Red Lobster. They have them. Or make your own, like, well, many of us have in the past. Those are so good. I love those stupid things. And I'm not a cheese guy. And I love Cheddar Bay biscuits. They're just wrongly good. Ugh, delicious bickies. But yeah, there's plenty of things you can keep on hand that aren't necessarily going to go bad. Keep an eye on whether or not any buggies or any animals think your house is a good source of food as well. If they are, deal with that and keep all your supplies safe. Canned goods are usually a lot safer. But dry goods, you have a higher probability of critters. That's another reason why the dry goods tend to be on the inside. Because a garage is not sealed, but it's not outside. Our garage tends to be about 10 degrees plus or minus whatever it is outside. What is inside? So if it's summertime, it may be a little warmer. If it's wintertime, it's a little hotter. But it tends to be pretty close. Close enough that you're not going to have to worry about stored foods going bad. I can send it to you if you want. I also want to try bread. But I also got Sunny sourdough starter for Christmas. Ooh. Sourdough. Was a while ago. They still hadn't the CRT TVs in the bar area when they went out of business. They finally tore down the building a month ago to make room for Raising Cane's. Well, Cane's ain't bad, so that's something. Don't make it appealing to mice either. Good point. Ad. I'll be boring for the ad. Well, I probably was reading enough stuff during the ad since I saw that after I read everything else. Ads. Boring ads. Sorry to everyone who has to see them, but you're actually funding me by enjoying those ads. So you're helping. I appreciate you and your patience. It does make my day better. Boop. So, there's lots of things you can keep in. Make sure you keep in the safest, correct space. Like I was mentioning, garage is safe for our cans and our bottled sodas and jarred sketty sauces. But I wouldn't recommend keeping out there the flour or anything else that might go. I wouldn't recommend anything out there that might go bad from over humidity or from potential critters that might come in. Because when you're in a garage, you got to remember the wall of the garage opens every time you go out in the car, which means bugs can make it in. Bugs make it in, environment makes it in, moisture makes it in, temperature makes it in. So nothing that's going to be dangerous to itself you don't want to keep out there. And of course, in your house, be careful of bugs and things. You don't want to have that be an unsafe zone. Glad to help you make a living. I still need to pay you back for those professional pom-poms I told you about way back when. wow, you're the one that told me about those. Yay! Oh, I love those. They're wonderful. They are in plenty of my YouTube videos at this point, in case you want to see them in action. Now, there are some things that you probably want to keep on hand that you don't want to think about that you want to keep on hand. All the food and cleaning supplies, you're relatively probably normal thinking about those. Now, some things you want to keep on hand, you may expire in their process. But I'm going to put this on a safety sense that any purchased over-the-counter medication that is not a life-dependent medication, most everything is not going to actually expire. It just becomes slightly less potent after the expiration dates. So, if you buy a bottle of Tylenol and it expired last week, it will still fix your headache. It's just slightly less potent than it was when it was officially on fleck. You should put on your cheerleader outfit more often, too. I need to as well. I should probably make another video with those soon. So, medications. Just like the toilet paper, some of the things you don't want to not have the moment you need them. And I think we could all comprehend how much you don't want to try and get in the car and drive the moment you have a stomach ache, diarrhea, a migraine, whatever potential things might ail you. Keeping a bottle of, say, each of the regular potential problems, at least something that can get you by until you can get to a store safely, not necessarily a bad thing. Even if it's just a small bottle of anti-poo pills or a small pack of Pepto-type pills, good idea to keep something like that on hand because you never know. Migraines in general, headaches in general, you're not wanting to drive a car. Yes, Bob, you need to wear yours as well. My cheerleader outfit consists of a Virginia Tech sweater and a clearance candy corn shirt I bought from Hot Topic. Ah, neat. Well, it sounds like a fun outfit. So yes, keeping basic medical supplies, and also throw in there some Band-Aids. Those do expire as well, and in their case, they become less sticky and less good at being on you. Probably all of your basic emergency medical supplies, like cleaning products as well for that, Neosporin or whatever. Maybe some anti-itch cream. Possibly some other emergency products. Basically, if you might need it for an emergency owie, within reason, or at least something that will get you by till you can safely get to the store, get someone at the store to get you the within reason item. Not bad to have handy. And even if you just have like one or two of something on the safety sense, like really big Band-Aid, for that time you skin your knee. Yeah, you skin your knee, you put one on, maybe you have two, you're safe for right now, and you're safe enough to go to the store to buy a pack of them to make it through the problem. So it doesn't hurt to have like one or two of certain things, in the sense that you can make up for the emergency. It's hard to say that you're going to run into multiple emergencies at the same exact time, like you get a cold where you can't drive a car, and you fall and skin your knee, and you are completely out of peas, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to have at least some check boxes still in there. You're going to manage. As long as you get enough of the things you need to get to where you need to get to. Come up there. That's better. Thank you. Oop. All right, we're doing fine. Um, Other things you may want to, that it is a smart idea to be at least somewhat ahead of the game in. It's a good idea to keep things like, and this may sound funny, but clothing. Having enough of it so that you don't have to do laundry every week or every 2 weeks is not necessarily a bad thing. And potentially keeping up with laundry products that might wear out. A couple extra towels more than you think you're going to need. Towels for when guests come over. Socks and underwear. These things wear out. Having a few extra not only gives you a longer time before you have to do laundry if you're busy. You have things going on every weekend for a whole month straight, or you just don't feel like it. It doesn't hurt to have, say, an extra pack of socks, an extra pack of undies. They will get used. And the more you have them, the longer overall they'll last, because you're potentially cycling through all of them as opposed to wearing just the same 14 underwears in a row and then washing them and wearing the same 14 underwears again. Probably 15, so you have one for the day off. Have too many shirts. We thinned out the collection before moving. Sometimes I think I'm like that too. I actually put a bunch of my older, less fun shirts and or ones that don't fit as well or that I really don't like that I got for free in a drawer. And I started throwing away ones that are all worn out because it can start to just take up space. Remember, having extras, good. Having things that are worn out, not necessarily as good. Extra couple of sets of sheet for your bed, not necessarily a bad thing. Remember, if you have different beds in your house that are different sizes, try and keep them organized so you know which one's which. I still need to learn that lesson. I need to go through the fitted sheets and put all of the full-size sheets in one section, all the queen-size sheets in another section, because when you look at them, they all look about the same. The twin, I could tell those ones apart from the other ones. The other two, just looking at them, I don't notice until I try and put them on the queen-size bed and realize they don't fit. Some I want to cut the design off and making them into something. I can definitely agree on that. There are some shirts I don't want to get rid of just because of what's on them, and those are the ones that I didn't throw out. Ended up putting in the drawer of not weariness under the bed. Yeah. And besides all of the things you can think of that you're going to need, sometimes having spare parts around isn't necessarily a bad thing. Again, this comes down to, do you have space for it? Is it encumbering you to have these? Does it make you feel like you're in a warehouse more than a house just because of this? Or does it make you feel like you just have a effective cabinet of some things you might want or know you're going to need in the future? A thing I recently replaced that I absolutely do not intend on keeping a backup set of, is the windshield wiper blades for the car. Why? I don't even know if I'm going to have this car to the point where the windshield wiper blades are going to necessarily need to be replaced again. And even if I did, windshield wiper blades normally don't just explode the minute they're not good anymore. And I can get them from Amazon in 24 hours. So I'm not concerned on those. Too many good shirts that were 24-hour shirt sites. Yeah, I have a lot of those. Much of my Woot shirts have become I wear those during workday shirts. Because at least I feel like I'm wearing something fun. There are a couple of household parts that I actually have a replacement piece of in the cabinets in the garage because I know I could use them and they don't take up much space and didn't cost much. You know, on a bathroom type sink where you pull the little plungy thing up and it makes the plug go down? I have broken the part that goes down on the pipe that makes the pluggy go up and down more than a couple times in my lifetime. I have a spare one in its container on the pegboard in the garage, ready to use for whenever one of the three in the house ever breaks again. Yes, I've had to replace ones in this house, not just in general. I replaced ones in this house, so that says something, huh? They're not a lifetime investment. I've considered having an extra toilet flusher handle. Again, I replaced 2 of them in this house, 1 in the apartment. Because the inside part, the little sticky bit, it was plastic and it busted. After many years of being a plastic stick that has to have the pressure of pulling the pluggy bit up and down. Now, your list of parts might vary from mine, of things that you would think are necessary. If you change your own oil at home, having extra oil filters and stuff on hand, not a bad idea. One supply that we do have on hand that I know is finite in timeline, we have a gas can in a garage to run the lawnmower. It's a 1-gallon gas can. I'm sticking with a 1-gallon gas can because it takes a long time to go through a 1 gallon of gas in the lawnmower mowing our 1/4 acre lot. That includes a house, so it's not like it's even a full 1/4 acre. It's 1/4 acre that contains a house that has lawn to be mowed in it. Hello, Obsidian Fort Tunnel Shadow. I'm just going to call you Obsidian. And hello, Daddy Armstrong, 666. It's safer not to have too much extra gas laying around. This is correct. I never saw much point to lawn mowing. I like wildflowers. We have a homeowners association. We have to mow our lawn. That and being in town, the city also has its limitations on how much you can let your lawn be overgrown. So whether or not I like to mow my lawn or not, I have to. Unfortunately, or fortunately, as the case may be. We mow the front lawn a lot more than we mow the back lawn. So, again, I'm all for doing it as little as possible. And yes, keeping more gas on hand can be a liability more than a boon. So having our up to 1 gallon tanky of gas in the garage, not necessarily a bad thing. For some reason, us keeping a 5-gallon can out there, why would we? It just adds danger. Call me Armstrong. You got it, Armstrong. I've been letting the yard clover over in the back. Still green and needs less mowing. But the advantage of no HOA. Yeah. We have a few areas, a few patches that are clovering more than grassing, and I don't argue with them. Anything that stays short automatically makes my life easier and less work. Not only less effort, but less having, wasted time and energy mowing and keeping up a fuzz of green that is apparently all the to-do for everyone. Again, I frankly don't get it either, but I have to follow the rules. You don't have a choice on an HOA when you buy a house or city ordinances. So if we lived out in the boondocks, yeah, I could just grow my lawn up to 3 feet high and not have to care. But then I probably wouldn't have fast internet, so you wouldn't be seeing me. Yeah. Not a bad idea to keep certain tools on hand you might need. If it's possible and if it's something you're comfortable with, it doesn't hurt to have that. We do have an array of different tools: screwdrivers, pliers, power drills, lawn tools other than the lawnmower, like a weed eater and a hedge saw thingy, a leaf blower, power washer. You know, basic stuff. Nothing serious. I come from being the son of a carpenter who had an entire basement solid full of tools, plus the back of his pickup truck solid full of tools, plus now he has a 2-story garage with a basement under it as well. All, again, solid full of tools. I'm not that kind of person. I don't know what to do with half of those. And I don't have the space for them. Nope. Still, a neighbor has a lovely native plant front yard. Ooh, that sounds nice. Hi, Raider Sonic. Welcome to the fun. Question: how long did it take to make that Avi of yours? I think it took Autumn about a half hour to get the skinning color right, and 2 trial and errors with the texture file to figure out the one that actually showed the color right. This is a purchased avatar. I can't remember the maker's name. Let me see if it shows on here. Boop. Avatar. This avatar. Foxy Paws made it. Foxipaws. So this avatar took $35 to make. Super jealous of that yard. They made it look so cozy. I would totally do that. I would be happy to have that next door to me. And good night, Wild. I'm sorry I missed you if you already left, but have a good rest of your evening. I'll get one of those gasless mowers, less danger to it, and no need for gas to have obvious advantages. Yeah, I've considered getting one of the battery-operated ones, but we've already invested in this mower, and until it's dead, that's the one we're going to keep using. Can recommend. Got an electric, and I love it. Push mowers, however, are miserable. Yes, they are. I would need... we do have one that does have power assist drive as opposed to a straight push mower. And as long as the ground is not mud, it does a lot of the work for me. An hour or two, I'm guessing. Oh, as far as making the avatar. I think it took him about it took my love about a half hour, 45 minutes to do the coloring. And then the uploading process. I have not specifically asked the amount of time it took, but I am very appreciative of the fact that my love did take the time to recolor this for me and make it all pink. Because it came in kind of a not pink, and they called it pink. And she made it all Daisy colors for me, so that was nice. So I get to have pink. Technically, Daisy has yellow hair, but I prefer the pink hair anyway, so I wasn't going to... That actually works for me. But she has Daisy pink, her main pink, which is awesome. Nice thing, the battery ones, is they work in other tools, like the leaf blower and the weed whacker. That's assuming you can find one that uses the same battery as other tools you're going to use. And those batteries do start to go bad over time. We actually have come to the point in our 6-year tenure in this house where we've actually had to cycle out 3 of the batteries we use for our yard tools, the weed whacker, the hedge saw, the leaf blower, and 2 different power drills, because I bought drills twice because it was cheaper to buy a drill with 2 batteries than it was to buy 2 batteries. At the times I bought them, a battery was $40. The drill with 2 batteries was $50. So I got a drill and another battery for $10 more. I'll take the extra stuff. They do, but they're never so. They're at their start of their life. Yeah. Definitely, though, considering an electric battery-operated lawnmower, when this one does eventually end life. But, honestly, the fact that we put in a gallon of gas usually once a year, as far as keeping the lawnmower running, even at its highest, that's only like $4 a year to mow our lawn gas-wise. So it's hard to budget replacing a functioning device that actually does a good job with a several $100 another device that's now going to be using electricity we'd have to keep recharging the battery with, and a battery that's going to wear out. For the time being, we're probably going to stick with that at least till it's dead, and then we'd consider an electric one or possibly another gas one. Hard to say. That's future me's problem. Put them over here. The first electric was a 2008, was quartered, and that sure was a thing. Yes, when I was growing up, the only electric lawnmowers I knew of were ones with, you'd have to plug them with the big old orange electric extension cord. And one of our neighbors had one, and they barely could reach the end of their lawn on their orange. So that was a little bit annoying. At least we have outside of power outlets, so it's possible to use something like that. But that would be very impractical. I would rather pay $4 for a gallon of gas that's going to last me all summer than to have to deal with not lawn mowing over my orange power cable. Oop. Okay, we're still good. Yay. Now, there are a lot of things that any one of you can potentially say is a good thing to keep on hand extra for your version of a rainy day. I definitely am not going to judge you on that. As long as the usual rules, do you have space in the way that it's not going to encumber you, not going to make you feel cramped or like you live in just a storage facility for your life, and are you going to use it before it expires reasonably? Some things, again, like medicines, you might not reasonably use a full container of Imodium AD before you've had the super poos enough time to expire a jug of it. Or Pepto-Bismol, you might not have enough vomity times that you're going to need however the smallest pack of either pills or pink goo you can buy is. I can't tell you that. I can't judge that for any of you, and most people can't either. You're not going to guess how many times you're going to get a stomachache in the year 2023, or the poots, or whatevs, or headaches, or pain. I can't, there's no way for me to guess that, and there's no way for you to guess that either, unless you really have consistent pain and or poos or vomits or whatever. In which case, that's not a keeping stockpile, that's a keeping up with. But if there's other things that make your life work better, it's not a bad thing to necessarily have a little bit of a backstock on. Some electronic items we actually keep more than one backup of in our house at any given time. This may surprise you, or may not, But since we work online with computers every single day and have certain products that we know will wear out, we keep certain things on hand. Both of us have a kind of a mouse we like to work with at work. Both of us have 2 or more backup mice at any given time in the cabinet. Not because we're going to have one wear out immediately after it comes into service, but more along the lines of, when I'm buying one, I'm buying 2 because they don't take up much space. We tend to have at least feasible backup keyboards at any given time. Because the one I like to work on is a unique tiny size, I have a backup specifically of it in the cabinet ready to use when this one wears out, or I can no longer read the letters on the keys on this one to a reasonable extent. I think I already have at least 2 letters that are missing, and I can figure out how to spell things. But you get the picture. When it starts to wear out, we're ready to replace it. Mice can go bad after ready use constantly. We keep work computers on at least basic battery backups. They're laptops, so they have batteries internally that actually are working. Knock on wood. But it's good to have a battery backup for them, the switches, the routers, everything that gets the internet from the outside world up to where we work, we have on battery backup. This is part of, again, preparedness. The stockpiling something, in this case, small amount of electricity. These little battery backups do wear out, though. We've had to replace at least one of them over the years and add one more when the hardware moved around in the house and we had another fail point between us and the internet. All that's taken care of at this point. We're ready to replace any at any given time. We don't keep a backup one, but we're ready to purchase a backup one at a given moment. So, again, Amazon Prime, we can get one of these things within 24 to 48 hours, replace it, and it's not like it's not going to function the moment the battery stops working. It doesn't work whenever the power goes out. So, you're not going to find that out until the power's gone down. Fortunately, the computers themselves will stay alive, so you're basically safe. We don't keep everything on battery backup. Like the computer I'm working on right now, my fun computer, my gaming computer, I don't put a battery backup on that. My work computer is a laptop. It's small. It has low power draw in general. Putting that on a battery backup and the switch on that desk, and I think one of the monitors, this is very minimal power. A cheap battery backup can handle that. My desktop computer here that's running 4 monitors total, plus a VR headset now. It has a 3080 GPU in it. It has a 1,000-watt power supply. It is not feasible to put that on a battery backup because the battery backup is going to be more expensive than worth it. I did have one for a good while when we lived at the apartment, and I thought I got one that was going to be valid. First time power went out and I had to use it, and it was well within its lifespan. It kept the computer on for all of like 3 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry about the ads. Stupid ads. So, as far as battery backups go, put that down to at discretion, at feasibility. In our case, we put it on the things we know we absolutely need to have it on if it is possible to keep the house running from a minor, and I do mean minor, power interruption. If there's a major one, down the street where our internet's coming from anyway is going to go down, so we won't have internet anyway, and we'll have to relocate. So, again, reasonable to the minor problems. Now, again, this is me not judging anyone else's needs. Other people that are even in this chat room right now, they have necessary evil, but I miss out on valuable life advice. Oh, don't worry. I babble plenty. And if you really miss anything important, I will repost this on my YouTube channel, and you can re-entertain with whatever you are unhappily missing. Now, I know at least one person in this channel that is probably still paying attention would have a different kind of supply that they would think is an important thing to have more stockpiled on. Possibly then having an extra trackball that makes my Vixen happy, or a small Logitech mouse that makes me happy. And I would say keeping appropriate paint, marker, and ink supplies handy. An artist who does traditional media art stuffs will want to have supplies. And sometimes, depending on where your supplies are coming from, it may be an annoying level of having to wait to continue to work on an art project if you run out of the right pinks. I hate when I run out of the right pinks. So, yes, I'm calling out at least one person that I know is probably paying attention, because I know he does keep a very wide array of colors and different mediums sitting on his art desk. And I am very envious, and I think his amazingly lovely array. Yes, I was talking about you. I am very jealous and envious of the fact that he not only has that many different types of art materials, but that he also knows how to use most of them. I'm guessing most of them. I know he often buys things to try them, so I don't want to assess knows how to use everything because has not tried it yet, therefore doesn't necessarily know how to use it until it has tried it. Disclaimer here. Though I would safely say knows how to use more of it than I would, to a major extent. Yes. But there are plenty of things anyone else with any kind of talents or hobbies would necessarily want to have on hand. Especially if a delay in a restock would cost you time, possibly money, and possibly derail your creative endeavors. If I was in the middle of a sewing project and I thought I had enough of this particular type of fabric, and I didn't, and I had to reorder middle of a project, and I'm possibly out weeks waiting for additional fabric, that once I get it, I may have to undo some of what I did because the piece I got as addition doesn't fully match the piece I have already in play, which only means not only have I wasted some of the product I already had, because I have to take it apart to add the new matching product. Now I've also wasted time sewing those bits, and that's an energy letdown and can ruin project drive. Another reason when I start a project, I do inventory. If I think I'm going to use a particular type of color or a particular type of fabric, how much do I have of it? Is it going to be adequate? Do I have additional bits that will adequately fit color-wise if I need to change out a later part? As long as all of a specific part are going to match, etc., etc. Fabric is complicated. Well, hello, not Trev9. My refills collection is tiny compared to the markers themselves. So I lag if a marker dies out now, but I live where there are 3 art stores. Planning ahead isn't my strong point. Fair enough there, Mendy. Fair enough. I'm glad you do live in short range of plenty of art supply locations, because I know it would really bum you out and equally kill your drive, like I know it does mine, when you have to stop mid-project waiting for a part, a bit, a thread, a zipper that you thought was going to be long enough. It isn't. You ran out of snaps. You ran out of I don't know what. Your eraser wore out for erasing sketch lines. I don't know. Whatever it is that happens to run out, it sucks. I think you're planner more than I am, because you do actually plan and have all those different colors. Most of my watercolors are small markers, so they can be sold out. Makers, but they can be sold out. But I have a pan of paint. Lasts a long time, so I haven't had to deal with that yet. Maker, not marker. Got it. My brain ended up correcting it after I read it the way it was spelled. Even though it still was spelled wrong. Yay! My brain uses something smart. Getting back to the food stuff, having a chest freezer, I definitely found was a wise investment in our lives. I mentioned a few weeks ago, after tornado apocalypse and we had no power for a few days, how the fact the chest freezer, which was ironically about half full of French fries because I'm stupid and accidentally kept buying them, made enough of a cold sink that none of the food went bad over 3 days of no power. Yay, chest freezer. But something like that is useful if you're wanting to stockpile for more than a couple of days worth of pleasant foods. Canned foods can be pleasant, but you can get bored of soup. Having the ability to store some freezer-safe meats. All meat is basically freezer-safe, but meat that isn't necessarily going to get keka by you putting it in the freezer. Or came frozen already. Frozen chicken breasts, very basic, very good example of something to have that's definitely a good thing that will make real meals for an extended period of time. You get a 10-pound bag of chicken breasts from Sam's Club, Walmart, wherever. That's a lot of food stuff. That's a lot of main meat product. Etsy is dangerous when it comes to paint. I've never tried canned corned beef. You never get tired of it? Well, I can't say anyone is not going to not get tired of certain things. I know canned mushrooms and me are a big lifetime friend system. And I buy those by the flat at Sam's Club. So 12 cans at a time. But there are plenty of easily storable, freezable, if not already frozen meats. Some pre-prepared to some extent, some not. Like, I'm not gonna lie, chicken nuggets are often on my freezer section. Frozen fish, either regular untainted fish like salmon, tuna, mahi-mahi, something in one of those little vacuum sealed pre-frozen setups, or like Gordon's fish triangles. Gordon's fish triangles are really tasty, and we usually keep those handy too because they're quick and easy to deal with. It's a thing we can have on hand that will make food more interesting if it comes down to it. Most processed meat products, freezer doesn't hurt them, like hot dogs, kielbasa, smoked sausage. A lot of those can easily be storaged. And pretty much every vegetarian meat alternative already comes in the freezer section. So yes, there are bags of 1 pound equivalent of Boca Burger in our freezer at any given time. We tend to buy the Impossible Burger patties because we actually like them better than the regular burger patties. And those are all frozen, so that's use of the freezer. Also, the Impossible meatballs were really good, and again, were pretty reasonably priced. I'm not saying go vegetarian on me or anything if you're not aimed towards that, but if you're looking for some options that actually taste good, and things that might spice up your dinner to dinner, what's it going to hurt? And they're actually reasonably priced. Sometimes the veggie ones are actually cheaper or about the same as the meat option. And if you like frozen vegetables, and in some cases we do, that's a good thing to go with. Frozen broccoli is really tasty, and it's pretty easy to deal with. Most of the time we just buy it in the steamer bags anyway, so literally all you do is you take it out of the freezer, drop it in the microwave for 6 minutes, and you have what tastes like fresh steamed broccoli. Some vegetables have a completely different flavor when they're frozen compared to canned. Canned green beans and peas taste totally different than frozen green beans and peas. I do buy both. Canned corn, frozen corn, honestly, I find them about the same. Corn's pretty bulletproof. Hello, Raven Roses. Welcome to the stream. How are you, Miss Pretty? Thank you for finding my stuff. And yeah, I agree, Mendy. There are tasty alternatives. There are a lot of fun alternatives to the basic meat products that we all know and love. Or as long as you're not vegetarian already, because you might not love them. But anyway, one thing I do occasionally buy fresh in bulk package and then freeze some of is pork chops. I'll buy them as pork chops when they're on like super duper sale, like $1 a pound or whatever. And I'll buy the pack of 6 or 8 or whatevs that happens to be on the shelf. We'll make a couple of pork chops for dinner that night, and I bag and freezer the rest. They tend to turn out okay when you defrost them if you're just eating them as pork chops, but I also use them as an ingredient in something else. I use them on my fried rice. So, when it comes to them becoming an ingredient as opposed to the main star of a food, a little bit of potential freezer burn is not really going to be noticeable in the long run. In general, I cut it up real small before I cook it. It gets cooked up and added with some Korean barbecue sauce to flavor the pork bits themselves. And it makes use of a product that I got cheap to add a big kick of flavor and proteinitude to something that I want to make feel special. And of course, if you do like certain pre-frozen items, I'm not going to down on you for that. Like if you're a frozen pizza person, I wish I could eat frozen pizza. My body has decided it does not deal as well with frozen pizza anymore or most cheese-like products. I'm sorry to anyone that's a cheese addict. I can't be with you anymore. At least I can't hang with you. I'll have to have the cheese light item. Drunk and tipsy. I am okay with that. You are allowed to be. And yes, Popsy says hi. I need to hit the farmer's market at some point. Also got my veggie growing and And basil heart. Oh, delish. Yay! I am glad Raven is on vacation. And if you can have things that you can take care of fresh, like a basil garden or an herb garden that's either inside or outside, or possibly a hybrid of the two, more power to you. I have these little monsters called squirrels. I think where I was making my herb garden was the best place to go diggy dig dig. So I quit dealing with trying to plant herbs because I killed them all more than once. Grumble, grumble, grumble. It's such a big pot of basil, too, and they killed it all. Stupid squirrels. No offense to any squirrels in this chat room. You miss all us? Raven. Aww, I miss you too. Come hang out more. Well, I mean when you're done being on vacation. But frozen pizzas, obviously, a lot of people can make easy meals out of that. In fact, I did buy frozen pizza product. I can deal with the French bread pizzas as long as I do them in extreme moderation. So I picked up a couple of the 2-packs of the Stouffer's French bread pizzas when I was out shopping recently. I love those things. And they have enough bread compared to cheese ratio that I can usually hang with my cheese-eating brethren. Fist bumped all y'all. Other things that may sound silly even just mentioning them, but frozen egg rolls. A lot of your takeout restaurants are serving your frozen egg rolls anyway. If you're going to pay $2 for a frozen egg roll, might as well pay, $6 for a 12-pack of them at Sam's Club. And then you got all the frozen egg rolls you can deal with. Wait, it's a 16-pack of them at Sam's Club. Because it's 2 units of 8. Those things are delicious. Darn near restaurant takeout quality, not restaurant quality. We have a couple of places we know that make fresh egg rolls that taste so good that I make point to get those. Hibachi, we buy your egg rolls. We go to Woo's, you get a fresh egg roll. You go to that Vietnamese place in downtown, you get an egg roll. Egg roll. No questions. Got 5 plants put in. Nice. Squirrels have their own access to the feeder, so they're happy. Some got me a plate of fries. I would love to. Trust me. After Tornado Apocalypse, I've actually been doing my best to go through the freezer of fries. So, not a bad thing to have some on hand for multiple reasons. One of which being they're a giant cold sink in your freezer. For another thing, they are a fairly good filling staple food product. Not good for you. Filling. Sometimes there's a difference in the game, and if it's a pleasing thing and you're stuck in not able to get out, it's not a bad thing to have a couple bags of fries you do like. Possibly whatever fry condiment that makes you the happiest, be it barbecue, ketchup, or in my case, malt vinegar. They're a good thing to have on hand. And if you have any frozen straight up meal products that you like that really do you good, not a bad idea to have 1 or 2 of them on hand at any given time. We have a particular frozen General Tso's chicken or orange chicken, depending on which one I pick up at the time, that we really are fond of. Crazy Cuisine is the brand name. We get them at Meijer. I heard you can also get them at Costco and probably other places. But it's a brown box, like a light tan box. Crazy Cuisine has a dragon on the logo if you're actually curious. Pretty good stuff. I keep a family-sized box of that on hand. I make it one night, and then we have leftovers the next day for lunch. Same thing. We have the rice cooker, and I buy a rice by the pillow, the 10 or 20 pound pillow, which we fill into a little cereal dumpster whenever we're We open it. And rice, a pack of that, a bag of frozen broccoli, full meal. 2 frozen items, 1 store item, easy to deal with, like stupid easy. 6 minutes in the microwave. We use a rice cooker, set rice cooker up, make go, put chicken in oven for 20 to 25 minutes, add sauce. Ta-da. Easy meal, comforting meal, happy meal. It's a happy meal, just no prize. The only prize is you're happy at the end. Fries. With ketchup and peppers and black pepper. I am okay with that. I actually do like a good black pepper on fries. I find that to be a good additive. When we eat out, I often will use the black pepper. Especially at this place called Buffalo Wings and Ribs near us that has really good fries. And they are perfect with a little bit of pepper. So I am all on you there. And hello, Drift Fujiwara. I'm just going to go with Drift there, if that's okay. Well, welcome to the channel. And welcome to me babbling about all of this, that, and the other thing. Currently we're talking about preparedness, and I've gotten into freezables. I do find it polite to at least try and greet someone with whatever their full name is the first time, just in case they don't feel like I'm recognizing them personally. I want to be thorough and let you know that I noticed you. Yes, you. Other things that are interestingly easily freezable. Bacon? If you don't open it, just take the flat of bacon you got from the store, slide it right in the freezer. If you buy bulk bacon at places like Sam's Club or Costco, oftentimes it's portioned out into the about a pound flats like you'd buy at the grocery store anyway. Pull one out when you need it, leave the rest in the freezer. You have an easily stored item. Something we found is very versatile and is a great thing to keep in the freezer. Frozen peppers and onions mix. If you're making like a spaghetti sauce or a stir fry or something that you really want to add some extra vegetables to, they work really good in any cooked situation. Now, fresh is better, especially if you're making a cheesesteak sandwich or something. But if you're just trying to spaz up a jar of Progresso a little bit, they work fine, especially because if they're going to cook for a while, you're going to lose the bonus of the flavor, the fresh, that you would have the same result of with the frozen. Okay. But Hot Pocket? You know what? For the longest time, we had Hot Pockets in the freezer too. I'm not going to judge. Again, I don't judge your food tastes or what makes you happy. I think Hot Pockets are strangely good. I try not to eat them as much because I know they're not as good for me. That and the cheese level, it starts to become a risk of tummy ache, and I don't want to risk. The later I eat cheese product and milk product in the evening, the closer I am to waking up with tummy ache. As long as I go a good 6 hours before bed when eating something like that, I'm usually okay. Molten frozen bricks. Yes. Guilty pleasure. I still buy them occasionally. Also guilty pleasure. I still buy SpaghettiOs with meatballs occasionally. Okay. And I'm not going to, even remotely say that my buying canned Chef Boyardee raviolis is a bad thing. I've loved those since I was little. I am probably never going to stop loving them. I buy the 12-pack at Sam's Club. No shame. I'm really happy. I am glad you are happy. I'm happy too. Somehow they break the sides by being frozen and burning all at once. I don't know how they do that. Something I surprised some former roommates with when we were all eating Hot Pockets for dinner on the same time, I turned the oven on and I put them in the oven. Because that's the way I first learned to eat Hot Pockets, was they went in the oven. Okay, I'm old. Shut up. The first TV dinners I had still came in the foil plates, okay? I was trained that dinner went in the oven when I was a little kid, so dinner went in the oven, not the microwave. It wasn't until I was a teenager or later that I started to have Hot Pockets as a microwave food. Also because if I was going to be eating Hot Pockets, so was probably my sister, so was probably my mother, and Dad was going to eat something else because he thought that stuff was disgusting. Long story, being in the Navy, on a destroyer, spoiled foods, cheese and tomatoes. Not going any deeper into that. Put your own two and two together. Because I'm graduating high school in 7 days. Woot! Congratulations, Drift. Welcome to almost out of regular school stuff. Do you have any plans set up? College you're planning on? Or do you have a job situation lined up? Or are you still on the fence about whatever's happening? Oh. Good luck with the failing grade part. Hopefully you'll still squeeze out there. But hopefully you make it through that, and whatever it is that comes off next in your life path does go well with you. You're about to open into a whole new world of exciting. And it's good, if you are keeping stored foods, to have things with multifunctions. Now, yes, keeping some pre-made foods. Oh, Bird's Eye frozen dinner bags. I've had a few of those where it's like noodles and vegetables in a bag and all you do is heat it up. Those are actually pretty okay in a pinch. They're not great, but they're not bad. Just a heads up. If you like frozen TV dinners, also, not going to judge. If you want to keep a couple of those on hand too, good use of the freezer. Especially if you're cooking for one or two and they actually satisfy the one or two of you. No judgment. I mean, honestly, that's an easy way to, if it makes you happy, good. Use your little bit of extra freezer space. It's not a bad idea to have multi-purpose items like the chicken breasts, or in my case, the pork chops. Some frozen vegetables like the green peppers and onions. Like bagged or canned beans. Do you have any idea how much you can do with a pack of lentils? It costs like $1 something for a pound of dry lentils. A pound of dry lentils is a lot of lentils. It took us like 3 days to go through a pound of lentils once cooked. First in the Moroccan chicken that Fopsy Woo made. And then I used the rest with leftover spaghetti meat sauce, and I just had it like that. But nearly complete protein, shelf stable for decades. Dried beans can last nigh on forever in your pantry. And you can do a lot with them. So say you had some of those frozen peppers and onions. You had a bag of lentils. You had a can of diced tomatoes. You had a can of mushrooms. You had some seasonings on your shelf. You can easily turn that into a meal. Throw in a couple of those chicken breasts or the pork chops cut up, or as sat on the side and cooked as a separate item. You got a lot of options here, kids. A lot of ways you can make all this tasty with multi-purpose items that, I know, multitasking. That's my inner Alton Brown coming out, I guess. Sorry, what you said, my dad need me? Oh, I just said, I hope you end up with a good whatever comes down the road for you. Be it further school or a job or whatever happens. I'm more pleasantness to your future there, Drift. I hope that whatever your next step in life is a productive and happy one in whatever it is you're hoping to be towards. And hi to Drift's dad. If you like soups, it's a good way to have a lot of extra food on hand that you can turn into a lot of food. Because if something can make broth for you, and then you add that broth to, say, some noodles, and you throw in some of those frozen vegetables or canned vegetables, you have just turned some basically plain-looking ingredients into something exciting with very little effort, or a lot of effort, depending on how much you want to put into it. Sorry. Just remember, a lot of bagged dry beans you want to soak overnight before using, especially kidney beans and larger beans. Lentils you can usually get away with using the day of, so heads up on that. We're looking to try another lentil recipe, possibly next week. I can't remember which country it was from, but Fopsy was going to try something, and I had to order a special seasoning. But it's some kind of lentil thing that looks kind of like a curry. I think it's Middle Eastern, something like that. But it's some kind of Middle Eastern curry-esque lentil thing, and hopefully it's going to taste pretty good. I'm probably going to get a NASCAR. Well, cool. That is a cool endeavor. Well, have fun getting into the NASCAR-y direction. I don't like driving a car enough to want to be a NASCAR. Also, I can't fix a car for anything more than the few minor things. Like I know how to change my oil. I know how to take my wiper blades off. I've fill up any fluid that I have an access port to. Heck, I even know how to change light bulbs. You were watching NASCAR yesterday? Nice. I go to NASCAR parties. I honestly can't follow it. I apologize. You're welcome to enjoy it. I go there for the company, not for the NASCARs. But I do enjoy hanging out with friends when they like watching the cars go in circles. You should take your cheer outfit to your next NASCAR party. I have done that. The problem is it's green, and I don't think any of my friends like a race car driver that's green, so I'd be cheering for the people they don't like. So that's less fun. If there's one sport that needs cheerleaders, it's auto racing. I can see that. NASCAR in of itself can be fun, even if you aren't paying attention to the cars. Tailgating is an excellent sport in of itself, and I've actually gone to NASCAR, at least one NASCAR event, at a smaller track, and the race part was fun and all. I really had a good time with my friends out in the back of their SUV. We popped out the grill, we grilled some brats or something, and we had a good time. It was a weird type of an event. NASCAR is a religion in of itself. It's more than just the cars going in circles. Similarly, I like going to the baseball games here in town. At our minor league team, the Tin Caps. The stadium's really pretty, and the food's delicious. And the games go by fast enough that you don't feel like you're sitting there waiting for them to pitch for half the game. So many good foods on that stadium. It's amazing how many delicious foods are available at a minor league stadium in the middle of downtown Fort Wayne. Highly recommend. If you ever get a chance to go to a Tin Caps game, do it. You're not going to be in the nosebleed section because they don't really have one. And there's food for days. You'll have a good time. Hey, you can cheer for the green flag. Green means go. Yeah, you got a point there. Yesterday, Darlington was crazy. Ooh, I recognize that name. Without giving too much away, do your green pom-poms match the home team? Actually, yes. I just said the team name. Whoops. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to hide that. Fort Wayne, Indiana. The Tin Caps. They are green. So, technically, yes. I could cheer for my local baseball team, which that's not normal. You don't really have cheerleaders at baseball games. But, yeah, I actually have the right color. I don't think it'd be appropriate for me to wear that outfit with how I look, because the skirt's really short, and I don't want to show off my bat and balls while I'm cheering for the team. That was saying it politely. But it looks really good on the fursuit, so that works. I went off on a fun tangent there with that. Yeah, there's a lot of fun you can do food-wise using these storable items that will make potentially a short-term inconvenience still a tasty experience. Even if it comes down to, like for us, that box of frozen General Tso's or orange chicken, whichever I happened to buy that time. That's 2 good meals for us in one box. If you like the pizza, that's a good meal or 2, depending on how big of a pizza or how many of you are there. Egg rolls are a good side dish for a lot of food products, like the General Tso's, or heck, the pizza. You can eat egg rolls with pizza. I ain't judging. I do buy a packet frozen fried rice. I make good fried rice, mind you. Okay, I'm not going to say I don't make great fried rice. But as an instant lunch product, there's a packet chicken fried rice that I get at Sam's Club in a 6-pack. They microwave in 3 minutes. They taste about like, you know that side dish fried rice you get with a combo meal at a takeout place? Maybe like 1 point less good than that. It's adequate. Eat that with a couple of those egg rolls. You got yourself a good lunch. At least I do. Ooh, a lot of things got said while I was talking there. Ross Chaston squeezed Larson into turn 1 and Chaston wrecking is half the fun. I apologize, but it is usually fun to watch. The cheerleader outfit is inappropriate for baseball, but not NASCAR. Well, it's probably not appropriate for either one. But usually when I'm watching NASCAR races, I'm not at the NASCAR race, so I'd be with just my friends. Whereas the baseball game, I'd be out in public. And I don't know if I'm a fairly free spirit when it comes to what I wear, but I don't like to show off the twig and nuggets by accident if I can avoid it. And that skirt's short, so yeah, again, that's just for a, I don't think that'll work out so well for me. I mean, ain't nothing else. You could just bring the pom-poms. That's true. I come into the chat to bat and balls talk. Yes, you did. It's because I was being encouraged to go in my cheerleader outfit to things. I didn't want to show those off. I come back, flipping to steak to twig and nuggets. That's because they asked again. Good timing, faggy. Good timing. I do tend to like to have a few different kinds of sausage products in our freezer, which I mentioned already. Right now, because we'd recently had a good kielbasa thing that we're going to do again soon, I have 4 of the about a pound knots of kielbasa in the freezer. I think I have a 1 knot of turkey smoked sausage. I think I have a pack of Italian sausages, like a 5 or 6 pack. I know there's hot dogs in one of the freezers. But these things, easy to have, easy to make potentially a stuck situation more pleasant. Yes, I try to buy something nice to eat on Sunday every week. I do at least a modestly good cooking job that day. Usually either steaks or a big piece of fish, like a side of salmon or some walleye or something like that. Don't do anything that makes you uncomfortable. I didn't mean it. It's okay. You're not insisting too much. I wasn't worried. um, Now, and on Mondays, I tend to do a cooking thing that I make leftovers out of, which tends to be fresh, either a ground beef product, like today was, I made taco stuff. So I made 2 pounds of ground taco meat out of ground beast, 2 1/4 because I got the value package. Other weeks I'll make like a family pack of chicken thighs on Monday or something. But if something were to happen and I couldn't get out of the house because of weather, or I was sick on grocery night, I like to know I still have some kind of options. I have something I can cook on Sunday. It may not be a fresh pair of ribeyes. It may not be that lovely piece of salmon I had my eye on. Which the last 2 times I went to buy the salmon, they didn't have any salmon. They actually sold out. Thank you, Meyer. Stock better. Stock better. At least I'll have something I can cook. Same thing on the Monday. I may not have a flat of chicken to cook, but I could probably finagle something with some sausages or maybe that frozen General Tso's that's sitting in the freezer or whatever. Worst case scenario, frozen fish triangles. They go good with the French fries. Now, I'm not telling everyone they need to get a 7 cubic foot chest freezer in their life. That's not necessarily something everyone has space for or desire for. The good news is, one of those uses almost no power because of the way that temperature works. That cold stays down when you open up the flap on a chest freezer. So they're actually super energy efficient. And I think ours only uses like $15 to $20 worth of electricity a year or something like that. I forget the exact amount. I bought it in 2020, so I don't remember the numbers that were on the Energy Star paper thingy doable. All I know is it was really, really low. And if you can budget space for a small one, maybe not even the 7 foot, maybe you're a 1-person family and the freezer on top of your fridge is big enough. It's fine. As long as you have enough to keep yourself busy for a couple of weeks in case of emergency. Or maybe there's just 2 of you and you feel like the 5 cubic foot or the 3 cubic foot is big enough. And I'm like throwing out all the numbers of things I was looking at when I bought the silly thing. I went with the 7 because it was a reasonable price at the time. I think I paid about $200 for the silly thing. And I think we've definitely made strategic use out of it for shopping in bulk and or keeping things on hand just so that we don't feel like we're constrained week to week. Especially during the height of lockdown, whenever it was, they were telling us to not go grocery shopping except like once every 2 weeks. It was hard. Not only planning meals for 2 weeks, but planning snacks and other extraneouses. And just in case you fail at your next 2-week allowance of getting out of the house, it was an eye-opener to a lot of people, even to me, who was already a bit of a stockpiler. I definitely increased my in case emergency level to a little bit further down the line towards the before it spoils. Way before it spoils, mind you. It would take a long time for all that canned goods to go bad. Some of the freezer stuff eventually will go bad if I don't get to it, because freezer burn does occur. Most things last easy a year. After that, they start to go a little downhill. Self-frozen items go downhill quicker because they don't freeze as evenly as ones that come pre-frozen. Because your freezer can freeze, but it is not as fast as a instant chiller like they do for the frozen chicken breasts and things. Those get frozen instantly almost, whereas if you put a chicken breast in the freezer, it can take a few hours to freeze easily. So it doesn't freeze as evenly as quickly. Boop. But yeah, I recommend those if you have the space and the need for. Refrigerator goods are their own monster, and it's hard to get stuff like that lasts very long. I know we keep most of our bread products in the fridge because that actually does make them last longer by a long shot usually. You still have the chance of them drying out or molding, but usually you stretch your window from maybe a week to several weeks potentially. And even at dried out, sometimes they're still tasty enough if you put a moist burger on them. A dry hamburger bun becomes a moist hamburger bun the moment there's a moist hamburger sitting on it because juices, and all of a sudden sucks up some of them juices. You get a yummy juicy burger still. I should head off. Have a good stream. Thank you for coming, Mindy. I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening. It is getting late, isn't it? Boy, I've been babbling for a while. 9 o'clock. Yeah, I have been. Wow. Sometimes you'd amaze your own self with how long you can go. I know how some of my friends will keep going for 5-6 hours in a row. Get me on a topic and I'll keep going. And interact with me and it goes even more. And food is always a good topic in my book. Yeah. Entertainment's probably one of the hardest things to keep extra on hand. Because I know we all get bored of stuff. And if the internet goes down and the power is down, or one or the other or both, you quickly run out of stuff you can easily do. Just internet down, I know I have a wall of DVDs in the living room, plus some elsewhere, and video games that are local based, so I have things to do. We have shelves full of these things called buacs. You know, they're paper with words written on them that you can read. You don't even have to press F5 and it's the page loads like right away. In fact, we both have at least one Kindle product to our name, so we have battery-operated books, tablets, cell phones with internet service on them, so we can still connect to the world if necessary. Sorry about that. But yeah, I hope this was a somewhat educational setup, helpful. I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to solve your problems or give you the exact answers of what items to purchase or not purchase. Obviously, I'm going to give you some recommendations, like the egg rolls at Sam's Club. I don't remember the brand name, but the ones we sell at ours, those are bomb diggity. I like the frozen fried rice. My husband wife does not, but that's an opinion thing. One person likes, one person doesn't. It still means it's a food I'm going to buy for me. I don't like toaster waffles with blueberries, but I know someone else does, so I buy those. Personal taste. Service to everybody in your household. And that Crazy Cuisine frozen General Tso's / orange chicken. I think they have a couple more that they do as well, but those, they really do a good job. That one's, it's been better than some of the, fast food type takeout Chinese places I've gone to. Not quite as good as the hibachi place called Hibachi down the street from us, but way better than the Peking place that's close to us, because that is sad Chinese food. I know this is a bit of a opener for anyone else, but does anyone else have any stuff like this you're interested to talk about? Anything else that it would spaz your fancy of wanting to go over as far as preparedness or food stores or anything like that? Or any other topics? I definitely a fan of going to sporting events. I just haven't done it in a while. I'm not a big sports fan, but I enjoy the camaraderie of being at one, be it NASCAR or baseball or whatever. If I'm at a event with a bunch of people that are enjoying themselves, even if I don't get I don't get the game or the sport, I'm with friends eating food. It makes things better. It makes it fun. Yeah. Well, it is after 9, and I am definitely running low on the steam, as it were. Let's see who's available that I can shuffle all of you off to. Boop. I think I found someone. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Yeah. He'll take you. I definitely want to thank you all for spending time with me and enjoying my babbling, and I hopefully what I said was helpful or educational or in any way brightened your day. Even if it was just possibly giving you some cooking ideas like making a soup out of lentils. Hey, at least I feel like I did something for you today. Or if I just made you smile by sitting here babbling endlessly about stupid stuff. I hope it made you smile. I'm going to raid you off to a lovely floof known as Electro Wolf. He is someone I've watched quite a bit of, and I think you'll enjoy him too. Boop. Raid process starting. So, see you around there too, Master of Fluff. Waves my pom-pom at you too. I would, but I don't have any in this VR avatar. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Remember, I stream Mondays from 7 to Eastern Standard. Wednesdays from 8 to 10 is my gaming night, so I'll be on in Fursuit playing Borderlands 2 still. But Mondays are still going to stay as chat and go on as long as they do, and tonight it went over 2 hours because I got rambling. But yeah.